Didn't see that coming.
Recorded live.
Merry Christmas.
Thank you. Wow.
A little early, but...
earliest Christmas ever. Nice.
Thought you'd enjoy that. That's a blast from the past.
Definitely. Yeah. Yeah. I haven't been surprised, and I don't know. How long has it been? 2 months? It's my first surprise.
When was the last time someone pulled a quarter from your ear? I know it's hard to keep track.
It really is.
You live next to that magic factory, right?
Yeah. And there's just a lot of creepy old men in my neighborhood for some reason.
Yeah.
Always inviting me into their house. You know.
Hey, we've all been there. The Magic Factory in Magic Town.
Pretty much, yeah. And if I went I'd be transported
district.
into a fantasy world, but it would turn into a nightmare.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you all know the story.
LSD, man.
Yeah, exactly. That's what they call LSD.
Yeah, that's pretty much it.
Don't do it, kids.
Don't do it unless you want to have fun. Was that the caveat, I think?
I guess
I
that
saw
was
that in the fine
implied.
print. Yeah, I think that is implied. Isn't that for all drugs? Like,
pretty much.
This is your brain on drugs, and it's not that bad. It's kind of fun, kids. Everyone likes some eggs, right?
Just an egg, yeah.
Just an egg, hey. It was weird. I think they should have picked something like Brussels sprouts. Like, if they said drugs are like vegetables, kids would be like, I don't ever want drugs, ever. You know?
Mm-hmm.
I think that would have been more effective.
Yeah.
Like, you know, this is your brain on drugs, and it's like, you know, fresh steamed veggies.
Yeah.
You know? Kids particularly would be like, oh, no.
Yeah. And it's such a vague thing. I mean, just like drugs in general. I mean, like aspirin or something. Like, is this?
You mean like the caffeine my mommy and daddy drink in the morning?
Yeah, exactly. And it's just too extreme. Like all drugs that doesn't apply to.
Yeah, it was very 1984.
You know, you should like tap the government lightly or something.
Your government spreading propaganda.
Yeah.
For its own device that it actually made money on.
Yeah.
Made money on that drug war, and it was DARE and all that stuff, and people telling you to stay off drugs because they're bad, but everybody's doing them, which is why we got to tell everyone to stop.
But it's clearly not working because it keeps telling everyone to stop.
And we keep facilitating the import of it. That's part of the problem.
Yeah, well, yeah. I mean, if people didn't want them, they wouldn't import them.
Yeah.
But I saw those a lot when I was a kid. Do they not play those anymore as much at all? Do you have any
I don't
idea?
think so. I really think that campaign was really big and it died down, and people, people grew up. I think, and it was. I don't think they were getting the same message across. And I think the message changed. You know, I think they reformed school curriculum and stuff like that, and how they teach things, and I think. It kind of seemed to me they just moved on to a different kind of message, you know. I mean, those kids were still taught all that stuff, I'm sure, you know, that drugs are bad in their health class or something. Yeah. And the effects and all that. I'm sure they got it, but it didn't seem like it was the sort of national campaign that it was when we were kids. Yeah, that's what I was wondering, if that was still going on or if they just kind of cut that altogether. Or it changed or something. I don't know. I'm out of touch, obviously. Yeah, because you're on drugs. Yeah, my brain is an egg frying in a pan. That sounds like beat poetry. Yeah, it does. My brain, my brain is an egg frying in a pan. This is what I'm told by the man.
There you go. Wow. Just got topical.
Yeah.
Yeah, it kind of seems like
politics.
those are like the modern, pseudo-modern at this point, version of the, like, you know, crazy ads that came out like in the 50s and 60s, like a Reefer Madness or something like that. Or
you mean the documentary?
Yeah, that documentary. Sorry. What did I say? Or that part in the, what's that movie? What's that movie? What's that Orson Welles movie?
All communists do drugs?
About... That's the one! Thank you.
Only the red smoke reefer? I think that's a couple of them I've seen.
Hammer and sickle equals cocaine and body odor.
Yeah.
No. Fuck, what was that movie? I want to say The Third Man, but that's not the right one. I could just look it up, I guess, because I can't seem to remember what it's called.
What's it about?
It's now I don't even remember. It's about something like, I don't remember. But there's a long shot at the beginning.
You're talking about, you're talking
famous.
about the Orson Welles movie, right?
Yeah.
There's a T in it. The name of it is
Touch of Evil.
Touch of Evil.
Okay. Woo!
See, there was the T. I knew there was a T.
You were right about the T.
Yeah.
Bang on the banana. You
know
bang
on a banana? What?
Yeah, bang on the banana.
What does that mean?
This means you were right on target.
Who says bang on the banana? A monkey? Did you hear that from a monkey? Why are you hanging out with monkeys? Bang on the banana? I don't know. It's like a game show, like a monkey at a game show. Like, if he's right, he's going to bang on the banana. If he thinks he's got the answer to the question, he doesn't press a buzzer, he bangs on the banana.
Mm-hmm. That sounds good. I would enjoy that.
I don't know how good of a player he is, but he's very enthusiastic, and he's hailed all the way from Kanoka, Wisconsin.
Wow.
I don't think that's a real place.
I don't either, but it should be.
It should be. It sounds like a nice, quiet place.
Yeah.
Where a monkey can be happy.
Take note, all monkey listeners. There's a place for you if you're feeling left out.
That's cave. Is that too caveman?
Yeah, I mean you didn't really make it monkey. You definitely kept it on the human side.
I can't devolve more
it's
than
sort of
that.
Like speaking with an accent, I guess.
I'm too much of a modern Homo sapien. I can't devolve more than that to the primate
That's
form.
The best
Sorry.
You
This is as far back as I can go.
I see. Well,
only back to Neanderthal.
That's all right. Thank you. That's what it is.
I feel like that Mr. Show scene, where David Cross plays the snooty guy in the donut shop.
Right, yeah.
Neanderthal. It's like, shut up.
Vinyl.
Oh, man. But I did know the difference and the correct pronunciation because it's silly.
Mm-hmm. I completely lost my train of thought. Oh, yeah. Touch of Evil. This is like far from relevant now that we've gone on to monkeys and bananas and so on, but
I do want to know where you got that phrase from.
The point was supposed to be, it actually comes from a
Benny Hill sketch?
I think it comes from the Bugle.
The Bugle. What's the Bugle?
It's a podcast.
And they say that?
I think so.
They say bang on the banana?
Yeah. Well, they're British, so they say bang on the banana.
Oh, okay. See, yeah, it's British. I was wondering what the twist was.
Yeah.
I was wondering what what the twist was. So that makes sense now.
Yeah.
If they're Brits.
Yeah.
They can get away with anything.
Right. It's true though.
It is true.
They call each other cunts.
Dude, they call each other anything they want.
Blows me away.
Because they're Brits, yeah. And they say words like squid.
Mhm. Yep.
And no, the Brits are great.
Yeah, no, hats off. All hats off. I mean it. Take your hat off.
Oh, take your hat off now, goddammit. The Queen's in the room.
There was a time when you non-hat removers would be straight to the tower.
The Tower of Evil. Where they would lock you up. And then release you later. Unharmed. Is that the one you're talking about?
No, actually, I was talking about the tower where you go and get beheaded.
Oh, oops.
Yeah.
Sorry, guys.
Slightly different tower. That's you're referring to the I don't know, the lesser known tower down the street with a lowercase t.
Lowercase t, yeah.
Maybe it's spelled differently too.
Tower with 2 E's.
Yeah, 2 E's. Why not?
Why not?
It's a Dutch company.
Yeah, there it is. Oh, the Dutch.
Anyway, in Touch of Evil, there's this scene where these thugs go in this, they start trying to attack this woman and rape her, and the explanation is they've been smoking a lot of marijuana.
Oh yeah. That was really bad.
It just made them wild and crazy. And
yeah, that whole scene plays straight out of Reefer Madness. It was the pot made them go crazy.
Yeah, it made them get really hyper and just want to go out and do terrible things to people.
Yeah, it was weird.
It's just.
And the whole time, I'm watching, waiting to figure out why they really went crazy.
Yeah.
And it's oh, that's the reason. No mystery there.
No, you just have to buy it.
Yeah, it was a hard pill to swallow.
Yeah. It's not a bad movie, but that part
no, it's a pretty good movie.
It's really good.
Pretty crazy movie.
Yeah, Citizen Kane's better, but it's worth watching.
Well, say any movie in place of this, and you can complete that sentence with every other movie ever made. Well, Citizen Kane's better.
Yes, it is a minor insult to say Citizen Kane is better. That's true.
But when you have a movie and the best you can say is Citizen Kane is better, then you're Orson Welles.
Right. Right. Yeah, it's not so bad. Yeah.
That's yeah. No, he's a crazy guy.
He is, yeah.
Rosebud, who would have guessed?
I know, right?
Genius.
It's true. So
we were going to talk about True Blood.
Yeah.
That was the intro to this quickly put together non-planned podcast. Welcome to, by the way.
Yeah, thank you.
14 minutes in, welcome. You've made it to the Twilight Zone. Not really, though.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Rod Serling is not here.
I hope not.
No. He's a good guy, though.
Yeah, no, big fan, but, I don't want to
The dead thing?
Yeah, the dead thing. That's really the problem. That's the thing no one wants to talk about.
Zombie Rod Sterling. No one wants to talk about that?
Yeah.
Is that your official statement, sir?
Yes.
Can I quote you?
You can, please.
No one wants to talk about No one wants to talk about Zombie. I think that's pretty crazy.
Yeah.
I'm going to quote you on that.
Okay, good. If I have to be known for saying one thing, I'll go with that.
So, what were you saying?
I like to call it Sookie's Adventures.
Yeah.
I don't think I'll ever get out of calling it that. Mainly because.
But it's True Blood.
Mainly because, first of all, my title is accurate with respect to the show.
Yeah.
That is what the show is about.
And the book is kind of titled that.
And, yeah, that's true.
The book is close. I mean, the book is... So I think it's a nice middle ground.
That's true. I think the name Sookie is too crazy not to put in the title.
Yeah.
And furthermore, I think the title True Blood's kind of lame. It's just kind of flat. It sits there. It doesn't tie into the show enough, I think, and it's just... I don't like how it sounds.
You know what? I think it's a good title for the pilot.
Yeah,
because
yeah.
the True Blood thing was the initial factor of the vampires coming out of the coffin.
Yeah, right.
So it really ties in well to that. But once you realize that the show is really about Sookie's adventures, it is. Then I think True Blood does just kind of sit there, and it's nice to look at in a marketing campaign, but it doesn't really say anything like, Now maybe they'll come back to that. Maybe it'll mean more later, but
yeah, it seems very incidental, and it just the words themselves I think don't sound that great. But it would have been a good title for the pilot. That makes me wonder. This is a side note. If they just came out of the coffin, that must be relative, right? Because they just went to this like big old hotel in Dallas, and presumably they didn't just build that
I think I don't
really
know. I mean,
recently.
one thing I could say is maybe a vampire already owned that hotel, and now he can just turn it into a vampire hotel. You know what I mean? Like these people had been, potentially, garnering money and acquiring wealth throughout the ages, pretty much, however long they've been around, and doing things with it, and I don't know. I mean, you could explain how they got a vampire hotel pretty easily. I mean, Eric already had his nightclub business, and and it was, I think it's recent. It wasn't like the day the show started. I think it was fairly, because they already had a spokeswoman who was talking about it, in the pilot, and I think there was probably a little slow gear up before the official announcement too. I'm sure that people would hear rumors and things, and are vampires real, and blah blah blah, and then they come out, and so I think it was probably recent, Yeah. And plus, like, if with the timeline of Jason's storyline in the pilot, he was dating all those girls before, and they were dating vampires. Yeah. And they knew they were vampires, so. Right. So it puts at least a couple weeks that they've been out. So
it seems like the hotel though. It just gives us, and I guess the club gives us impression of this infrastructure in place to serve this particular segment of the population, and so. I forgot. That's the main point. Like I forgot that it was only recently that they officially kind of tried to become a part of mainstream society. Because from the show, I just don't get that impression anymore.
Yeah. Well, and that was the first time we got to see a new area with vampires. Yeah. And to see they got a chance to show us, the whole ordering humans for services, thing, and that whole kind of they took the opportunity to sort of expand that lifestyle a bit, and especially and the storyline I really like is the guy who has to pretend, spoiler alert if you haven't seen the last Sookie's Adventures, the guy who pretends to be Sookie's husband when they go infiltrate the church, like him and his vampire partner lady.
Mhm.
Like, I think that's pretty cool that we're going to get to see that kind of a mirror, basically, of Sookie and Bill.
Mhm.
You know, and I think they're going to probably explore that a little bit. And what's my point? I forgot my point. But I would say I do like that actress. I've seen her in a couple of other things, and most notably Nip Tuck, and she was pretty good in that. And then there's some other little short thing I saw her in, but I like her. The one who plays the female vampire who's in Dallas. She kind of has an accent.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
She's dating
was in Dexter.
Oh, that's right. I was thinking there was something else I liked her from.
Yeah.
I'm like, what was it? And yeah, she was what's his name's wife.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I didn't recognize her initially, but I thought I knew her from something, but I couldn't actually remember her from that show, but I saw it online.
Yeah. No, she's good. Yeah, but it's always nice when you see familiar actors, you know. It's like, oh, look at you.
Yeah. And you get to, if you watch TV.
If you watch enough TV, you will see everyone and everything, I swear.
Yeah. I mean, Michelle Forbes has made the rounds.
Man, she just hops, skips, and a jump, and it's not a good show unless she's on it at some point, you know?
Yeah, she's been on just about all of my favorite shows in the last few years.
Yeah, she's been on some of the top
Star
shows.
Trek.
Yeah.
If she'd only made it into Twin Peaks.
She probably was close.
Yeah.
She probably. I wouldn't be surprised to see audition for something in that at that point. If she was out here trying to work, and I don't know what she was doing, but that'd be funny.
Yeah. I mean, that was just a few years before she was on Star Trek.
Yeah.
So presumably she was trying to be an actor at that time. She might even have been one. I don't know.
Yeah.
I haven't looked at her stuff recently, but yeah. Anyway. People are everywhere.
That is a true statement, folks. You heard it here first.
You can quote me on that as well.
I will. Got my quote book here.
Mhm.
So, you know, I think we both had complained a little bit that the first couple episodes of this season were, you know, pretty good, not spectacular. They spun their wheels a little bit. They're being a little slow in developing some of the storylines, I think. But I think this episode got the plot going again.
Big time.
And we finally...
Yeah.
What were you going to
say? The thing that struck me about this episode was that for a huge number of the characters, they were left in peril.
Yeah.
Or with, like, a big problem.
Yeah.
You know, whereas in the previous episodes, not really so much, and the problems are way more minor. Like, a lot of things came to a head in a quick amount of time in this episode, and so it just felt more exciting than what they've been doing before, which is much more relaxed. And
this is, I mean, if the whole this season was a movie script, I'd say this is, you know, plot point 1. We're about to go into Act 2 now.
Yeah.
You know, we had the first couple episodes, which was the setup, you know, and now we're going to go into the big, you know, because now one of the big reveals was that the Fellowship of the Sun has Godric.
Yes.
Which means we're probably going to see Godric again.
Yeah.
Which I think will be really interesting, considering, you know, we only saw him in that flashback like 1,000 years ago.
Yeah.
And that seems like the kind of thing, you know, that seems like the kind of character you wouldn't ever really see.
Right.
You know, but it's like he might be there, and then he's going to be that kid.
Yeah, and it'll be weird to see him, you know.
And he will be, he'll act totally differently. You know?
I mean, you know, Eric's actually changed quite a bit. He was a Viking warrior.
He was a Viking, warlord, fighting to get to Valhalla,
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. So presumably, living in the world since then has changed him somewhat. So yeah, it'll be cool. I'm definitely looking forward to seeing that.
Yeah.
But there was just a flurry of activity, and it made the first. I really can't say I didn't like any of the previous episodes. I'd say they were fairly
yeah.
good.
I didn't dislike any of them, but the first one wasn't great. I didn't think. Well, it got better quickly. It definitely got better quickly.
It just felt like they were being coy. In retrospect, especially with this Michelle Forbes plot,
that was the big one. Yeah, they had spent a lot of time on that already, and then we came into this season, and it's like they're still spending a lot of time with it.
Yeah. This was the first episode. What they did in this episode, they could have done 2 parties ago.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the whole thing. Yeah, it was too many parties. I think. We once they had the big party and Tara was like, no, I don't like this, and she left. That was when we got it.
Yeah.
And then they went another party. And then I think it was Tara's party.
Yeah.
And we kept seeing that same couple. The old couple, the old guy, and they got more and more gross as every time there's a party. They just get more and more sexual and stuff.
Yeah.
He, by the way, if I'm not mistaken, plays the doctor on Star Trek Enterprise. That actor. Yeah.
Okay.
And he's also in some other things I've seen. But anyway, I just thought I'd throw that out there.
Wow. I've never seen it, so I don't really know who that is, but
I don't know. So I don't know. Yeah, I think there was a couple too many parties. We got it. They just. I think there is a lot to Marianne, and I think that's part of the problem is they had a lot to show us. They had to show us, obviously the buildup of her attracting people to these parties. They had to deal with her being this sort of creature who the one who attacked Sookie, and why, and then that ties into Daphne.
Yeah.
And then they have to develop that whole thing with Sam and Daphne. So it can circle back to Marianne. And then they had to deal with her thing with Tara, had to deal with the fact that she can manipulate people's emotions pretty specifically.
Yeah.
So they had a lot. They had a lot to do with her, and that was, I think, no one expected that. It was just get on with it already, isn't it? Isn't this it? Aren't we done? She can eat a lot of food. Okay. What else? Keep going. Aren't you done? Please tell us what it is. Sam thought it was the money. We thought we were done with this.
Yeah.
Come on, guys.
Yeah.
But you know what? It led up to a very interesting conclusion, and I don't say that because I like orgies. I just, it's just, that was such a weird thing to see. And it was very, and you know what? The effect of her buzzing, I think, never looked better than in that shot.
Yeah.
It made it worse. All the other times when she did it and it looked weird, it made it worth it to see her doing it in that environment, and somehow the way they had her, that she was dancing with it, made it really work. She was this other thing,
Yeah.
And you got, I don't know, it seemed to solidify the whole effect for me for some reason. But and I thought,
it was the best, and I also liked, believe it or not, I'm also not just a huge fan of orgy scenes. But what I liked about this one is it sort of had it had a kind of Eyes Wide Shut quality to it, where they were doing this kind of mindless sexual activity that was they were doing it so mindlessly and so sort of
autonomously,
robotically, that it just felt kind of creepy and gross.
Well, it was creepy and gross because you got the sense they weren't doing it under their own will, and it was so not the thing that these people would ever do.
Yeah.
And it was not even just like they're individually kind of having sex. It was like this, insane, crazy, like super rated X orgy.
Right.
It wasn't even like mild normal sex, like
yeah,
that would be one that it was like. So not only are they not under their own control, but someone's manipulating them and taking them that far, and there's nothing they can do about it. And she's been doing this for thousands of years.
It's what they're doing, and the fact that they're doing it out in the open in a group, other people are around them. The whole context is ridiculous. And, we know some of the characters. I feel like even the eyes are kind of helping. They're sort of working like the masks in Eyes Wide Shut. Like, it makes it even sort of creepier for them to have their eyes like that.
Yeah.
So, and of course her, Michelle Forbes in the middle doing her blurry dance.
Yeah.
Which was good as well.
And man, when Tara and, is it Eggs? Is that what she calls him?
She kept calling him that, and then I was like, what is his name? Eggs.
Yeah. I thought, is she saying X? Like, but she just got a weird accent, so she's saying X. Like, I didn't know what she was saying anymore.
Yeah.
I don't remember his name now.
Now I want to look up and see what his character's name is supposed to be, because every time she said eggs, I was like, what the fuck?
Yeah. Well, someone give her some eggs already. She's asking for eggs all day.
What's going on, eggs? Stop. Stop. Yeah, no, his name is Eggs, according to IMDb.
Eggs?
It's Eggs.
Oh, man.
I don't know why.
I hate to say it, but that cracks me up.
I don't know how, but...
See what I did there?
Yes,
eggs,
I did.
That cracks, because, eggs crack. That's one of the...
It's even better when you explain it in detail.
The pop culture sort of funny things about eggs. It's in the zeitgeist. You should look it up.
Okay.
Page 10,082.
I like the specificity. That's good.
Yeah.
Of what? Who knows? But that's the page.
That's the page in the zeitgeist.
If I knew the book. Oh, it's Zeitgeist, the book.
Yeah. I didn't say it was a book. I just said it had pages.
Ugh. Okay. Yikes. Yikes.
It's like a riddle or something.
What are you
I feel like I just gave you a riddle.
You really did.
You can solve it.
I decided to dodge it because it seems like it's unsolvable.
When doesn't a book have pages?
Do you have an answer?
Oh, man. I could come up with one.
Okay.
when it's a jar.
Oh.
See what I did there?
I do.
Yeah.
I do.
God. Anyway, was I making a point? Okay.
You were
anyway,
going to say something about eggs.
I was going to say, what about
I thought
eggs?
he had a name. I didn't think his name was Eggs. And even if he was calling him Eggs, I thought that would be a nickname or something. Surely he has a name besides that. But no.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know why his name is Eggs all of a sudden, but she said it a lot.
She did say it a lot. It was distracting.
Yeah, it was weird.
At a certain point.
I feel like at some point he was going to be like, no, that's not my name. Why are you calling me?
Stop calling me Eggs. Who would want to be called Eggs?
Maybe his name is Egbert. He looks like an Egbert, right? I think he looks like an Egbert to me.
Egbert Humperdinkle.
Egbert Rasmussen. Esquire.
OBE. Anyway, what was your point? I feel like it's impossible to talk about this character without fixating on his name.
Oh, man. I'm trying to think of egg jokes now. That's all I can think of.
Egg is a terrible word.
And two of them is no better.
I hate it. Yeah, no, it doesn't help.
Plural form does not help.
No, it doesn't. It's just I find the word ugly, both in how it sounds and how it looks.
Eggs is the kind of word where you're like, someone either didn't finish or didn't really start when they came up with the word.
Yeah.
They're like, they're not finished with that one.
Yeah.
There's some words that are like that. They're just like, yeah, you're not done with that word.
Yeah. Yeah.
Eggs need some work.
Yeah.
But it's weird. The vowel double consonant S is weird, I think. A short word like that. There's not a lot of words like that, I don't think.
No. No, and the 2 G's bothers me.
You can't say and then g.
Yeah.
Those don't go well together. And then
But but, like legs doesn't bother me very much.
Oh, because of the le.
Yeah.
It's not
The L totally helps. I think removing the second G helps in terms of looking at it.
Yeah.
Like if you spell legs with 2 G's, which I think there is a company out there.
Does that mean that it's not Legbert? Leg with 2 G's?
No, it's not. It's not Leggery.
It's not Leggery? Yeah.
Or Legbert.
Yeah.
Anyway, what I really want to know what your original point was.
Well, I forgot what we were talking about. I was gonna make a point about eggs.
We were talking about the orgy. And
so
you were gonna say something about eggs and Tara.
What I loved is when Eggs and Tara came in, it seemed like, oh man, Marianne's caught. And she was like, right on time, guys. And that was scary, I think, because you thought that they had figured something out, which they really didn't.
Yeah.
They really didn't they figured out something happened, but they didn't figure out what. And it seems like, that's what I think what's cool about the show, and it's definitely well written, and and here's an example because they took what we sort of thought, the Scooby-Doo version of it or something, which where we would normally see play out, which they discover a mystery and they get to the place where it's reoccurring in time to stop it with their newfound knowledge.
Yeah.
But they get there, and she doesn't even stop dancing, which I love. That's creepy when, like, the bad guy sees you doing his bad thing, and he just continues. Like, he doesn't care.
Yeah.
Because you got to be scared why they don't care.
Because, it wasn't an emergency for them.
Yeah, it was like, oh, whatever. And then later when you actually see that she did, make them do it too, join the orgy too.
Yeah.
And you knew that, like, what they just realized was worth nothing in terms of stopping this.
Right.
And that was, I don't know, that taking that sort of idea we've seen before and just sidelining it a little bit is cool. Putting in that idea in a different direction. And the show, kind of consistently does that.
Definitely. I'd actually like to trace through Eggs and Tara's story a little bit, because I feel like I don't really understand it completely. The ending I get, but the earlier parts, I'm not really sure what they were doing. Maybe it sounds to me like what you were saying maybe is the answer, but I want to make sure. So it all starts when the shower doesn't work in the house. And,
it started way before that.
Well, all right, in this episode,
okay.
It starts with the shower not working, and Michelle Forbes gets pissed about the shower not working.
Mm-hmm.
And
you mean you want to trace what happens in this episode? I thought you meant their whole beginning.
No, not from the beginning. Just this episode.
So yeah, when we saw Michelle Forbes bitch out about the not being able to take a shower.
Out about the shower. Like she's always been fairly nice to Tara, and she, should, and on some level you would think, want to be nice since she's trying to stay in this house, which she didn't want her there. It's she's a guest in a way too, and so it's it's weird that she's there, and so her like bitching about the shower is like way out of line. It seemed weird that she was doing that. I'm not really sure why she did that.
Well, I think they were showing us that she is a person who's used to getting what they want and having all the creature comforts. Like, when she first tried to move into the house, like she brought all her stuff with her. You know what I mean? All the fancy stuff and all the desserts and all the stuff that they make and the lavish foods and all. She's always dancing around eating a grape and an olive or whatever. And so I think they were showing us that she actually likes that stuff and she doesn't like to be uncomfortable. Like she's a very, self-centered person. She wants everything her way when she wants it, and it was, I think it's weird given that they keep how, they were pointing us in the direction of how crazy she is in terms of what she is, that she would be, this upset about what is some pretty trivial stuff.
Yeah.
For someone like that. But I think, they're showing us that's her character. And really all it does is it's just really an excuse for Eggs and Tara to get out of the house together. That's all it is, plot-wise.
Yeah, they didn't really talk about the result. They didn't talk about going. So they leave.
Here's the thing. If you leave to go somewhere and you never get to that place, it wasn't about getting to that place.
Right. Yeah.
That's screenwriting 101.
So they leave to go get this part to fix
and
the shower.
They got to drive far. How come it wasn't down at the local store? It's all in this one town and this one place that has it in this one area. No, it was definitely plot. I mean, that was all plot driven, that whole thing. And I think they had an opportunity to show some character with Mary Ann in terms of her getting what she wants, and her comfort.
But I'm wondering if they actually went and got the part or not.
They didn't, because they were on their way to get the part. They got sidetracked with this whole thing where he made them pull over.
Okay, but they didn't continue. I mean, once they went back to the car, they didn't.
No, I think we're supposed to believe once they realized someone was murdered at this place that he has no memory of being, but he knows he was at. I think they went straight back to Mary Ann's. Well, straight back home.
I see.
I don't think they stopped to get the part.
Okay, so the shower's still not going to work.
No, shower still isn't going to work.
Okay. All right. I
mean, I guess maybe they could say they did it if they, want to, but that's not the impression I got. I don't see how he was that upset and they decided to stop. I mean, considering they hadn't even reached the place yet.
And they showed them getting back, right? And I don't think they showed. I don't think they showed them with the part.
I mean, it probably would be in their car.
Yeah.
Since they kind of seemed like they walked out to the back or whatever. But,
yeah.
I don't know. I mean, it seems like they might want to say they did get it so they don't have to worry about the shower anymore.
Right.
Unless like, they'll be like, oh, Carl fixed it or something.
Yeah, they could do that.
Or she was like, I couldn't wait on you guys any longer, so I called someone to come over.
Yeah.
Like some little excuse like that.
Yeah. But you're right that it's as became clear to me while I was watching it that it wasn't about the part for the shower.
No.
Which would have been really lame. So yeah, at a certain point they're driving to get this part and Eggs gets this urge to pull over and go in this particular direction, but has no conception of what it is he's looking for or going toward. So they walk through the woods and they come upon the little grove. I don't know what you call it. area.
It's almost like a little like makeshift campsite.
There you go.
You know, something like that.
And I guess there's blood there, and
so there was like a big rock, you know, and it looked like it was a big blood stain on it. It looked kind of like a carved stain too. I couldn't really tell if that carve indention was supposed to be like a knife did that or a sword did that, or was that just what the rock looked like? But it was sort of in the same kind of area where the blood was. So
yeah.
But suffice to say, someone died on that thing.
Yeah.
Or some blood got spilt.
I guess that's what we find out. But you know, Eggs like starts crying and he's upset, and you don't really. I don't. Did they ever have any kind of conception over what happened there? Like,
I think they're playing out the story, man. I think he's basically getting the feelings of whatever repressed memories he's got, either repressed because it was traumatic or repressed because Marianne repressed them. But I think what probably happened there was something just like what happened at, was basically the orgy scene. And
so
I think
it ties in. It's not like some completely unrelated thing.
Come on. I can't even answer that.
Okay.
I can't even, man. Was it completely unrelated or does it tie into their main storyline?
All right. When you say it out loud, it sounds like a bad question.
I mean, they bookmarked it for you. They had the scene of them finding something crazy going on in a sort of circular area in the middle of nowhere with a big blood stain, with Tara and the guy and Eggs finding it, and then the next scene is them showing up to Marianne, the same kind of setting. And then we see later with the knife she gets and threatens Sam with. I think it's a ritual. She comes in and she gathers these people and she sucks some energy or something from their good times, and it sort of she builds it. It seemed like it was important that it built. It wasn't like the first night she had the party she got them to go this far. It was like somehow she was able to build it and weave this grand like theater of pan-sex Greek craziness, like this all of the all the plates were spinning, and she just dances in the middle. It's such a weird character.
Yeah.
But I think that's kind of what's going on. Obviously Sam's not going to die, but I think it's definitely interesting. And we saw the servant guy put the bull head on her, and then the head kind of like came to life a little bit.
Mhm.
So I'm wondering if I want to see what's next when they show us the relationship between that head and her, and if she just turns into like does the head meld with her body and she becomes this bull-headed monster, or is it like her body changes into the sort of clawed monster, but not her head, but then she's wearing that bull head thing? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I wonder where the division is. Like, I guess basically is having the claws part of being the bull creature. Because we saw her have the claws without the head.
Yeah, that's true.
So I'm just wondering if it's like she could be that creature and not have the head on, but that's just something she likes to do or something, or that's part of her power or something. But she doesn't have to have the bull head on. Or is it that when she transforms into the creature, part of it is having the bull head on, and the bull head becomes effectively her real head.
Yeah.
And is like made out of real stuff, like flesh and stuff.
Yeah.
Is that what you think?
That was what I was thinking based on watching it.
Okay.
Because she's got the claws without it. I don't really know why there needs to be a thing. I mean, it kind of seems to me like, it was either that or have her head morph into that shape.
Yeah.
So they went with that. And it was kind of cool because the mask was kind of creepy as well.
It's got a weird, like, element to it, like this thing that gives you power or changes you or something, or
yeah,
it's more than it looks,
Yeah, exactly. Because she can obviously do stuff without it, but it seems like she's doing something, beyond what we've seen her do already.
And then again goes back to the ritual aspect of it. It seemed like part of a ritual.
Yeah. Yeah,
and maybe
totally.
that's what she does. I mean, maybe if we go with the Komodo dragon thing, maybe she she clawed Daphne and she's been waiting this time, and maybe that's who she's going to kill.
Yeah.
Maybe whoever gets clawed by the monster is the one that ends up killed at the orgy or whatever.
It's interesting though, because she led Sam there.
Yeah, I mean, she's definitely working for Marianne or something somehow.
Like that was one of the things that surprised me, as well as the fact that she's the pig.
Yeah, that was definitely a surprise. I mean, it's the kind of thing where if the servant wasn't around, I would have maybe guessed she was the pig.
Yeah.
But he seemed to be, that seemed to make sense for him.
Yeah.
But I guess it's just like the servant guy is just another person like Eggs and Tara that she just picked up. I don't know. It's weird. I still don't kind of get it. I still don't kind of get why they showed up and why she's naked with the pig. Like, why that's how they showed up in town, and why, what does any of that mean? If Eggs is somewhere and Carl is somewhere, like, where are they?
Yeah. Yeah.
When she's doing all that.
It certainly seems like they have a history that goes back longer than that, which wasn't that long ago, I think, in the timeline.
It is so not attractive that Daphne turns into a pig. I think Sam was like, "Oh, that's your go-to form? Yikes, baby, yikes." Because at first she was like the cute little doe. She was like, Daphne, and she turned into a deer. Like, it was like, oh, that fits, But it's like, yeah, my go-to form is a pig. It's like, yikes.
It was weird when what's his name Andy saw the two of them.
That was such a weird scene, man. When the dog and the pig are crossing the street together, like hanging out.
And the pig had to run, and the pig was like way behind because it's this like giant pig. It can't, it's not a fast runner.
It was gonna get caught. If he even tried, that pig was still gonna get caught.
Yeah.
There's no pretending that it could get away. It looked like it was struggling.
It did. I was like, oh no, don't make the pig run.
Yeah, it's so weird. It was like, that pig is like, it really wants to go faster. It's really trying, guys, but it just can't. Just can't. It's a pig.
But it seems like this Daphne thing was just a fairly elaborate scheme to get Sam there.
Yeah, and that's really weird, I gotta say. That's really weird. I don't know. I mean, does that mean that what's her name? Marianne? Yeah. That she, figure out what the anagram of that is. Maybe we can figure out what she is.
Oh yeah, I guess I should think about that.
Yeah, pull some of our lost tricks on this show. Go Wikipedia some of this stuff and see what comes up. I'm sure there's people who do, I guess.
Put it in an anagram generator.
Man, we don't have to do a True Blood podcast, do we? Are we on the beginnings of that or what?
Oh no, we're not, are we?
Like, the show's not going to get to the point where like where we're podcasting now.
I don't think so. I mean, this episode just had a lot of stuff in it.
Yeah.
More than the average one. I don't think we could really do,
not a super long one.
Yeah, we could do a short one, definitely.
Yeah.
It wouldn't be like The Lost, though.
Well, what would?
That's true. But we could, we could.
Yeah, we'll see.
Well, depending on whatever, how the episode is and time and all that.
Well, it was definitely good.
Yeah, so we found out like multiple things. I guess that was the other thing that was good about it. There were quite a few reveals.
Mm-hmm.
So they quit holding back like they've been doing for so long.
Yeah, this was the payoff from the whole build up from the beginning.
Yeah. So also learning that that Marianne was that creature that attacked Sookie.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's another thing.
You know what? We don't know who killed the lady, right? That was put in Lafayette's car.
No, we don't.
That's a big mystery.
No, we don't. That's still up in the air. Forgot about that.
They kind of brought that up at some point. Somebody mentioned that either this episode or last episode, but it wasn't a big point. But I don't know what they're doing with that. I mean, I would assume Marianne did it. I don't know who else could have done it or why. Unless.
Yeah, she's the only obvious suspect. I can't think. Was it in that scene with Lafayette? Did Andy bring it up?
Yeah, I think that's what it was. Yeah, he said something like she was found in your car or something.
Yeah,
maybe.
Because she had ripped off his cousin or something,
mm-hmm.
and blah blah blah. So it did come up, but it wasn't really. I mean, obviously he didn't do it.
Yeah.
So it's not really helpful.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what's going on with.
It kind of seems like they've swerved away from that. Like they've gone down a different road.
There's so much other stuff going on.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now here's my question: did Godric steal hearts? Did he mention something about taking his heart or taking the heart of people, or am I making that up? I feel like, or have we seen a vampire do that?
I don't think so.
Okay.
I don't remember that happening.
I don't know who else could have done it, unless it's Michelle Forbes' character, unless it's Marianne.
Yeah.
Or Bill did it, because that was the night he had to go heal, right?
Oh, yeah, that's right. Yeah. Yeah,
wait,
I don't think they're going to have Bill do it, though.
Did Sookie ask him about that?
There was a thing. I think Bill, like, he killed one of her relatives or something.
Didn't he kill someone that was like did something bad, and he was like, oh well, they did it. Oh yeah, he killed Uncle Bart.
Yeah, there you go.
Oh, that's right, and that's who he fed on or whatever.
I think so.
Oh, okay.
I think
he hurt you.
Yeah. There you go.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I think that was that.
Okay, I don't know who did the lady in the car thing. That's all kinds of weird.
It doesn't seem like it matters at this point.
Yeah, but that's the thing. I feel like it might all come back to that, or somehow that's going to be part of what's going on.
Yeah, they do need to say more.
Yeah, that's weird.
But I haven't really thought about it for a long time.
What else is going on? The whole thing with Sam and Daphne was good. I thought that storyline worked.
Yeah.
But she was obviously too good to be true.
Yeah.
I mean, Sam should have saw that come. Where'd you come from? Like, Sam. Come on, dude. It's my Sam.
Sam really reminds me of Sawyer without all the cynicism.
He's Sawyer, he's Sawyer light.
Yeah.
You know, he's Sawyer light. It's just, he doesn't have the cynicism. He hasn't given up on life.
Yeah. Yeah.
Sawyer saw a lot of bad stuff early, so that warped him. But they could be cousins. They're similar.
Yeah. Yeah.
They're really similar.
He reminds me of him sometimes. It's weird.
Yeah.
Alternate universe Sawyer.
Mhm. I could see him open up a little bar.
Yeah. Yeah, the Southern thing helps, definitely.
Mm-hmm. The whole Lafayette thing's interesting.
Yes, I don't know where they're going with that. That was just a minor setup.
I know, it was the total, like, setup. Like, she walks in saying, here, now you get to sell V again.
Yeah.
The way they're portraying him, you know, his sort of post-traumatic stress, I think, is really interesting.
Yeah. It is. I really didn't see that coming.
I know. Isn't that weird? I have the same feeling of, like, I didn't expect him to do this with him, and it's sort of surprising when they have those scenes but because it feels realistic. That's what makes it work. This is how he should be reacting, and you don't think that Lafayette would because he's Lafayette.
Yeah. You
think somehow he would put on a brave face at least, but he just can't even. He's been affected so much he can't even pretend, like, you know, and that's, I think, what's interesting that people that I don't think you see coming.
Yeah. In certain situations, he's able to act normal, but once his alarm bells go off, he loses control completely.
Yeah.
And I didn't expect that, but yeah, it's nice. It's stuff like that usually goes away faster.
Mhm. Yeah, totally. It's like, now that he's rescued, we're done with that, right?
Yeah.
But now it's like, no, they're going to deal with the aftermath of it.
Yeah, and he's not just, like, losing it, but his personality just isn't the same. Like, he's sort of been, you know, dulled by the experience. He doesn't have any of his more outward qualities anymore.
Yeah. When they had him back with the headscarf on, and I was like, oh yeah, that's what Lafayette used to look like. That used to be the image of him. Yeah,
I had kind of forgotten it's because he had been not like that for so long.
Yeah.
In the dungeon and then when he was just recuperating.
Yeah. It's interesting.
Laying around his house. But yeah, I don't know why they want him to do that. I don't know where that's going. I have no idea. I have no idea. Because it can't, I think, be connected to the Godric plot. Right? I mean, what would it have to do with that?
It could be connected to the Fellowship of the Sun stuff, I think. Maybe. I mean, they basically think there's people out there who want to buy V, and maybe they're looking for those kind of people or something, you know. Someone who they're looking for maybe is someone who, you know, would buy V or something. You know, I don't think it's a money thing. You know, maybe it's Eric's way of repaying, you know, or trying to be nice to him, like giving him back something that he knew he loved, even though he doesn't want it anymore. But it's like, you know, maybe Eric, in his own little way, feels bad and is like, you know, trying to give him back. I mean, they can maybe go that way, you know. Yeah.
That could be.
You know, I like the way they write Terry.
Terry?
The cook guy.
Oh, that guy. Yeah.
He's like, almost every scene he has, like, they do something really interesting with him. And like you can never really lock him down as a character. You know, he just says really interesting things, and like when he stood up for Lafayette, I thought that was interesting.
Yeah.
you know, and like just the way he like. You expect him to say one thing and he says something else, you know.
Yeah.
Half the time.
Yeah, no, there's something offbeat about him. He's a weird character. I agree. I don't have a read on him. I don't feel like I can define what his nature is.
Yeah, like that scene when like Sam asked him to take over the place and he was like all bashful about it. And then he's like, "Okay, I'll do it, Sam. You coward. You just gonna leave."
Yeah.
Like all of a sudden he was just like mad, and it was like, "What happened?"
Yeah, it was weird.
Yeah.
Forgot about that. Yeah.
And it just made like Sam feel instantly bad. Like it's like you ask someone to do their favor, they accept, and then they tell you shouldn't have done that. It's like, what? Oh, but you accepted.
Yeah.
Can't complain now because it's like you can't complain now because you can't take it back, you know? Like, It's crazy, but yeah, I like the way they write his character.
Yeah, I agree. He's something. I don't quite know what to do with him.
And you know, Hoyt's kind of like that too.
Yeah.
He's you know, I think he's standing up to his mom more than I think ordinarily that a character like that would.
Yeah.
Because, you know, like, it's like every scene now he's standing up to his mom. And it's not like, oh, a little bit here, a little bit there. It's like he's actually making progress towards that whole thing. You know, I guess that's where it's just facilitated by Jessica, you know.
Yeah.
That whole relationship.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's the idea. Yeah, I think Hoyt feels a little more comprehensible to me.
Yeah.
I feel like I understand him more.
He's in a smaller box.
Yeah. But still, yeah, that was I did enjoy that scene with him and his mom and the other woman.
We're very comfortable.
Yeah, that was oh God.
Yeah, it was funny. It's like, well, the reason she calls me really late at night is because he's a vampire.
So what about this other stuff? I guess the
Sookie side of things.
Yeah.
The Sookie side of life. Which is the horny and indignant side.
Yeah.
That's pretty much all she is either horny or indignant. One of the two. Sookie Stackhouse, ladies and gentlemen.
Sometimes both.
Never neither.
Never, ever neither. That's right. But not just Sookie. We also got a bit more backstory with Bill in this episode, with his maker in the 20s or something. It's weird.
Yeah, I forgot about that whole thing.
Weird scene.
Were you singing?
Yeah, with him singing, and
singing with like an American accent, but then they're French, you know.
Yeah,
it was weird. It was like, huh?
Yeah,
what
they're
are
pretending
you?
to be French, and then they lure this couple in and feed on them.
Yeah.
And then, and then start, having sex next to their corpses. It was a really weird scene to watch, because it's like, this isn't,
I gotta say, they are really doing things for the vampire genre that you haven't seen before, like that scene. I don't think I've ever seen a scene like that.
Yeah, I don't think I have either.
Just to the extent that they didn't shy away from what they were doing.
Yeah.
And even down to, like, making the couple watch and, like, you know, just the whole, like, tormenting of them, plus the feeding on them, plus the having sex, rolling in the blood.
Yeah.
You know, and just, but it's like that's what vampires would do. I mean, this blood is what they love, and they get to, you know, and rolling around in it is something you would think a very, you know, creature like that would do, but you've never really seen kind of that thing, you know.
Yeah.
And it is weird to watch.
Yeah, yeah. The scene would have been one thing if it were like, you know, two random evil vampires I'd never heard of before.
Mm-hmm.
It still would have been weird, but it was especially weird to watch Bill do it because it's not the.
I think that was cool.
Not the character I'm used to, and it's weird to see that he's obviously changed somewhat over the years.
Well, that's the whole thing is they had to prove that because they kept saying, I mean, he can't be saying this entire time vampires are, you know, sort of evil and they're, you know, these dark creatures. He can't keep saying that and exclude himself. I mean, like, yeah, that was the whole thing is at some point he had to behave like that too. And it was cool to, like, see, like, okay, this is what Bill used to be. You know, he was, like, all vampires go through that stage. You know, most continue to be that in that stage. And some, like Bill, try to be more civilized. You know, and, like, even Eric, too, you know.
Yeah.
But yeah, so you know, no vampire can say that they weren't like that. And so that's kind of cool. We finally get to see Bill like that. And then, of course, seeing the control that this lady has over him.
Yeah, yeah.
I think I got confused, though. At some point I was confused with, I think it's the scene where she and Eric are talking about all this. And I don't know, something with the dialogue, I got really confused on what was said, or like, or maybe it was like who made who, and I guess we figure that out later. I think in that one scene, I was really confused whether Bill made her or she made Bill.
Oh, she made. I mean, we've seen it. They showed the flashback.
Yeah. I know. That's what I'm saying. Like, I think that was afterwards, right?
No. I mean, I think that was in season 1.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I don't remember them talking about her in season 1.
Yeah. That was basically his flashback when they show him, like, I don't know, he was in the Civil War or something, and he has to stop by this house, and she's the woman there. Yeah, that's her.
I totally forgot about that whole thing.
It fucked me up because in the previous episode, you know, they end it with her in the hallway. Yeah. And I didn't recognize her.
That was the thing. I didn't recognize her either. I thought this was a whole new character. And we were like, yeah, I totally forgot that was her.
Because she looked different. And I was just
totally
like,
different.
There's a vampire in the hallway of the Vampire Hotel. Like, I didn't really see why that was supposed to be an ending.
Dude, I didn't get it either. I thought it was I thought it was someone they sent to kill them. And I thought the next scene was going to be, you know, Bill having to protect against this vampire lady that is sent to kill them or something. I didn't know what was going on.
Now that I know, once I realized in this episode who that was, I was like, oh, that was the point of that ending. Like, oh, she's back. Yeah. You know, that's what we were supposed to say. But I just didn't recognize her at all. So
yeah,
So the effect was ruined. But
yeah, totally. I did not recognize her. That's why I thought that whole scene with Eric was weird because she came in like we knew her already, and I was like, who are you, and what are you doing, and why are you Bill's maker? And like, this is the way they're telling us, and and you know, you're only here because Eric needs a favor. I'm like, this is weird, but yeah, she's got the whole backstory I totally forgot about. That makes it all work now. Yeah,
good. At some point, I guess when they said that she was the maker, I was like, oh, that's her, and I remembered the scene, and then it all kind of clicked for me. But the thing that was still, I'm not sure I totally understand what happened. So Eric sent for her, and then she goes and stops Bill from helping Sookie? Is that the idea? I mean, don't they want Sookie to not die? For example? I mean, I don't understand.
I think maybe I would say what they want is, and what they actually kind of get is, Sookie and the guy get taken to where Godric is. And I think that's probably what they wanted, and they didn't want Bill to intervene at the first sign of Sookie getting scared.
I see. Okay.
So they basically wanted Sookie to go further than Bill would have let her go.
I see.
I'm going to assume that's what happened.
Yeah.
But it is playing a dangerous game because if she's, and they could have set her up, too, because the people already knew.
Yeah. I was confused about that, too. I always have trouble understanding people when Sookie's reading their minds. Like, I can never
It's a different perspective.
I usually just can't understand the words they're saying.
Mm-hmm.
And so I miss things. So it wasn't, sometimes I can, but sometimes I just miss it. And so, I got the sense that they knew something, but I wasn't sure if they knew ahead of time or if they had just,
Yeah, I don't think you know when they knew, but they knew fairly early on. And I think the idea is they knew from the beginning.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, I don't think it was anything that they did during the course of the interview that did it. I think they already knew.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. I was thinking somehow they
already knew because he already had that guy waiting, I think. The security guy.
Yeah, Big Mickey.
Yeah, and they had already at some point obviously talked about it, and the preacher guy was on the tour with them the whole time, so he must have told the security guy the plan before they got there. So I think they knew. I think they were probably set up by Eric and those guys.
It seemed like at a certain point Sookie read their minds and they knew, but why? It seems like she should have known earlier if they were thinking those thoughts earlier.
Well, I think it was the beginning part, wasn't it? Just mainly with the wife or something, and she didn't know, and then it was really
she didn't know.
She didn't know. That was I don't think she knew.
I thought she knew. She just didn't like what they were doing.
I got the sense she didn't know, but she understood what they were doing really quickly when it was when he was saying things like "let me show you the whatever" and the sort of code words that she knows. I mean, I'm saying she didn't know because I think it goes along with the idea that he keeps shutting her out. Which she complained about. So I think that might have been something he didn't tell her, but he could have said these two people coming, might be infiltrators to her, maybe, but because the wife did think something at some point, didn't she? Didn't we hear her think something?
I think so.
But it was when it was kind of obvious though at that point, so it's kind of hard to tell when she thought that.
Yeah. I thought she read both their minds, but once again, I had trouble understanding, so I wasn't sure exactly what
and the thing, she says, is she can really only read what they're thinking. She can't really probe deep or whatever. If they're kind of thinking it, she can pick up on it. But if they're thinking about something else, and that she won't hear that.
Yeah.
I
just expect that, they would be thinking that a fair amount during this time, since there's this plan that they're going to undergo, and it would be strange if if the first time they thought about it was sort of that deep into it.
Maybe they know she's a telepath. But that's the thing. She's got to be consciously trying to read their mind. She, you notice she doesn't talk when she's reading their minds, and she was talking the whole interview. That was kind of part of the thing.
Yeah.
So she has to concentrate to read it, and she's got to be picking up on what they're saying. So it's not just if they're thinking it at any time that she's in the room, she'll hear it. It's not a continuous stream that she gets. Like, I think she gets, like, noise continuously, but in terms of picking something out, it's a concerted effort, I think that's what we're led to believe from all her bitching about it.
Okay. All right, so they did that, and then so they already knew, and they're going to take her downstairs.
For a birthday party.
They know she's trying to infiltrate.
Yeah.
So what are they planning to do with her?
They're going to kill him.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, the usual, you know,
the usual.
number one special.
Nothing crazy.
No.
Okay, all right. So are this altar or whatever it is they build? Are they gonna kill Godric on that?
Yeah.
Is that the idea? Okay.
Yeah, that's what he said about the breaking the daylight or whatever it's called, the ritual of whatever it was called, where you stake a vampire and then, you know, you leave him there and he's dead, and then when the sun comes up he'll explode, burst into flames.
Yeah.
You know, something Jesus would do.
Right. Of course. That was
it's just a lot of Jesus.
It's one of the lesser known gospels where he did that.
Yeah. I gotta say, the lady who plays the wife, man, you know, I'm from Texas and I've never met anyone who plays that perfectly.
Oh yeah.
That like blonde Southern girl.
Yeah.
You know, like I'm like, wow.
Yeah.
She's got that part down. She's probably from Australia.
You're so right. Yeah. No, it sounds totally authentic, and they get it with the lines too.
Oh, it's towing the lines, the way she talks about stuff, and the way she says things is It's definitely in the dialogue too. Yeah.
No, it's a good. They did a good job with that. Finally, they brought that whole subplot into the main story.
Yeah.
When
is the preacher going to say that he knows that they slept together or whatever? Like, he knows. You know, he's not stupid. Like, I just don't think this guy is stupid. Like,
no, I don't think
he's got to know, you know, unless the reveal is he's interested in Jason too. Yeah. You know, because he's a weirdo.
He's definitely a weirdo.
Yeah, I don't think he has any limits on anything they could do for him. He comes off like a guy with an ulterior motive. So yeah. I've
never felt like we've really seen what he's really like, because I feel like he's always kind of putting on a persona.
Oh man, he's good at it.
Yeah. Yeah, his character is
But yeah, he moves Jason in his house. Like, I think what it's probably going to end up being is just that the what's the guy's name? I don't know why I don't know any of these characters' names. It's the preacher guy.
Oh God, yeah, I don't know his
Mark
name
or something.
Maybe.
I think it's going to be that he, either wanted to just appease his wife, so he let her have Jason, just so he could focus on the business, and not, because that was the whole sort of rift between the two of them. So maybe that's kind of what it was,
right?
Or he wants her to go as far as to commit adultery, so that anything he does, he can just use that and be like, well, you did this.
Mhm.
But I think, it's, any married man, I think, would think twice when Jason's going to move in their house down the street from down the hall from his wife, who's awful, at home alone, a lot.
Mhm.
Where is he in all these weird times?
Yeah. That's true.
So I think he's off, like, playing, war god, and he's like, he doesn't feel bad because he knows what his wife is doing.
Mhm. I see.
Who his wife is doing, too.
Ooh. Do you think he knows that Jason is Sookie's brother?
I don't think he knows that.
Okay.
No, I don't think he knows that. I think that'll be part of what happens is Jason's going to figure out what's going on.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sure she will run to Jason and say, the wife will run to Jason and say, my husband's doing this, and he's got this girl or whatever, and I could see something like that happening.
Yeah.
But I gotta say, there was such a crazy situation they were in when sort of, when you realize that the people who are showing you around, like, want to kill you.
Yeah.
And how do you get out of that situation without causing any alarm? That, you don't want to let on that you know that. So you want to get out of there ASAP.
It's tricky, yeah. You don't know how to play it. You don't know if you don't know what they're going to do, when they're going to react. You want to be able to get away. You don't want to be trapped. But if you let them know that you're anxious, then they might tighten up and make sure you can escape. So that was a good. I like that scene when they were trying.
Yeah, it's a weird little situation to be in, and you're trying to get out, but you don't know what your window of opportunity is.
Yeah.
It's it's interesting.
And it's also weird because they're up until the last moment, like they're maintaining normality, as though they're just having they're just a couple there who want to have a wedding, and they're being shown around the church, and they're just but both of them know what's going on, and it's just a matter of time before it crosses the barrier into craziness.
Yeah, and then when the guy shows up, that's when oh crap, they're really like he just doesn't.
That guy, man. Ugh.
Yeah.
Something about his face scares me.
Is it a scary face?
He's got a scary face.
No.
It's hard for me to imagine him being a good guy.
Yeah, no, he looks like...
he seems like he's either a bad guy or he's like, a really intense, hard-ass, like, football coach.
Yeah, those are the two jobs you can get in Hollywood.
Yeah. Yeah, because he comes in and it's just like you're just not gonna be my friend here.
No, he's not. Yeah, he's not the guy that's like, oh, maybe he's good. Like, he can't play it both sides of it. He'd be like, no, that's the bad guy. Well, of course he's acting, so he looks mean.
That's true.
But yeah, he's definitely right. That's the kind of guy you hire for a role like that. For a job like that on that church. Like he was the drill instructor.
Right. Oh, yeah, good point. Of course.
Yeah,
That's why. Yeah. So he basically is that. He's both things. Very nice.
There it is.
He's a bad guy drill instructor. Perfect role. He should always play bad guy drill instructor.
Wow, he got the two. Yeah, wow. The apotheosis of his acting right there.
It is his perfect role.
This is his perfect role, the bad guy drill instructor. So it's like an army movie and an action movie in one. It's like, yeah.
Yeah. Wow.
I like like I said before, I like the mirroring of Sookie and Bill with that other couple. And the whole thing he brought up with Sookie about basically being turned and I just like when they pull back a layer from the original premise of the show, which is vampires coming out of the coffin, and they present another idea about what their life is like, and so basically the idea that that's a concern that mixed couples go through, a vampire and a human couple go through is, well, at one point, who want to be long term is like, well, they're going to outlive me unless they turn me, and it's like Sookie had no idea she'd even be thinking about that.
And not just outlive them, but physically, one of them will physically age and have all sorts of problems with their organs and stuff like that, and the other one's going to stay exactly the same the entire time, and that's just kind of awkward.
And what's great about that too, what adds an extra little sliver of dilemma is, if you're going to be turned, like if it's something you're questioning, you want to do it as soon as possible. It's not like, I'll wait 20 years to find. It's like, well, that'll be the age you're stuck at.
Yeah, whatever age you are.
So you have a built-in incentive to do it as young as you feel is necessary. So it's like you can't really it's not like you can wait until you're 100 and you can go, yeah, I made a mistake, now turn me, and then you go back to like you're 20. It's like, well, no, you got to do it when you're 20.
Yeah, and it's something I thought about, and it's kind of surprising that it's never been brought up, which is, I guess, why they finally got around to it. But yeah, it does seem like something that, the show hasn't gone on that long, so it hasn't been a big issue for a number of months or whatever. But for a long-term thing, they'd have to think about it at some point.
Yeah, no, I'm glad the way it came up. It came up fairly organically, and and it's a cool way that they get to mirror this whole thing. And because I was wondering, when we first saw that the actress, I don't know what her name is or who she plays. Love her though. The one who was in Nip Tuck and
Dexter.
When I first saw her, I'm like, she kind of had like that one scene with Eric, and it seemed like that was it. And I'm like, well, it seems weird that, she's not going to be around. And then she pops up later again when she, has her boyfriend or whatever go with Sookie in this whole thing. And I'm like, oh, okay, she's going to be part of this whole Dallas plot line, which is good. So I figured, I was like, she's the kind of actress where you don't expect her to be in one episode.
Oh, right.
So it was weird because it seemed like when that first episode, like that was just it for her. But then it's like, oh no, she's back and she's going to get involved in this whole thing with Sookie. So
yeah.
That was a good episode.
Yeah, I didn't know what to think of those characters when they introduced them. It seemed weird and extraneous.
It seemed like I didn't really know how much to invest in them. It's like, well, are they really new? Is it just a cameo? Like, are they going to be around? Like, because they were, all new vampire characters are interesting.
Yeah.
Because they usually show some sort of different side of them,
Right. Yeah. And there was also, I think they tried to set up this idea of, vampires in Dallas are different.
Yeah.
From, the vampires that are out in...
They're more European somehow.
The country in Louisiana. Yeah, they are more European. Who knows why?
Dallas is the Europe for vampires?
I guess so. I think they said at some point that... did they say... I think they said Godric was one of the oldest in the New World.
Yeah.
Which means that the original vampire must have been, not
European.
Yeah.
I think they're going to go with that. I mean, I think the Cradle civilization is in, the Middle East, Africa region.
Right.
So I think, it's got to originate, most likely in that area at some point. If it's thousands of years, I mean, that's where most people were. So.
Right. Yeah.
It makes sense.
I wonder how much of that origin we'll get. I mean, it seems so odd. Like, how could it?
Yeah. And how much history do they know?
It seems like something that can't start unless. Yeah.
You got to wonder how the vampire's history works. Like, is it an oral history? Like, do they really even know what sort of their collective history is, or just stories that they've been told about who?
Yeah, do they have any, working historians who have, compiled various records and documents or whatever there is to figure that out? And also, since vampires are, alive forever, and they, as far as I know, they don't reproduce. They just turn humans.
Mm-hmm.
Seems like they can't come about by an evolutionary process. It just wouldn't work.
No, I think it would be something happened, at one point something happened. And hey, maybe there's a common ancestor or something. Maybe there was some weird bat-like human creature.
Yeah.
I mean, they could even explain it by, some sort of DNA mutation. This very super, super rare thing that occurred. And it doesn't, and since they don't reproduce, it doesn't, it didn't really sort of continue and propagate. But by virtue of what it is, it makes the person propagated by.
But it made the person immortal.
See, and here's the thing: it kind of makes them directly propagate the genetic information that makes you a vampire, whatever that might be. So that's the way it replicates. I mean, maybe it's a virus. I mean, they could say that too, I guess.
Yeah. The other thing is the idea that they're dead, which I'm not really sure what that means.
Yeah. Dead just means their body is getting energy from some other process that isn't, the respiratory cardiovascular system and obviously sort of the eating system, as scientists call it.
Right.
Of eating food for energy and nutrition.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I mean, they obviously have blood, but I don't think their heart beats. So the blood just seems to kind of stay there, but which is kind of fine, I guess. I mean, the only reason your blood needs to circulate is so it can oxygenate your body. So, but if your body doesn't need that, so but they do seem to breathe, but maybe they can breathe underwater.
Blood.
Yeah.
So, you would think it would come from somewhere. I mean, maybe it just comes from feeding. Like the blood that they drink is transformed into their own blood somehow.
And that might even be, what's weird about it is they seem to digest the blood, which would, basically, it wouldn't go to their bloodstream that way. But maybe, maybe the idea is, they need the blood because it's got oxygen in it or something.
If you,
I don't know.
If you suddenly had a mutation that created a vampire, I mean, forget about how wildly implausible that is. If it happened,
is it wildly implausible?
I think it is.
For some of the things vampires have, it's not. For the being dead part, yes. The being dead part is pretty bad.
For the totality of what it is to be a vampire, to have that spontaneously arise is wildly implausible. For various reasons. Possibly the most striking one is the immortality part. I don't think that would just suddenly mutate.
Suddenly mutate. Yeah, it seems like the odds obviously are pretty astronomical.
Can't change that much.
But here's the thing: there are certain cells in your body that govern how your body ages. So if those, not cells, genes in your body. So if those genes are altered, that basically says of the whatever number of processes that adds to aging, that culminates into aging for the body, stop those or stop certain ones of them or slow them down. That part of it is not out of the realm of possibility. But yes, for it to spontaneously occur and that to be the direct result is astronomical. But the idea of from science standpoint that could happen, I don't think is crazy. Because we do know that genetics governs that stuff.
Yes. Yes, that's true. And yet, there is no thing that is governed by genetics that that doesn't age.
Which proves that it's spontaneously occurring wouldn't really happen.
Which is
But there are things that age very, very slowly and can live thousands of years.
Yeah, that's true.
Like a vampire. I mean, there's no proof that vampires will live forever. They just think they will.
I guess you can't ever prove that. But if none has ever died without being killed in the many ways that they can be killed, I think it's reasonable to assume that.
It's a definitely good assumption.
Since
but it could be that their lifespan
really
is 5,000 years.
To prove. Yeah, and how would they even know that? I mean, I guess
they wouldn't know. Yeah,
well,
I mean,
say they can live like 12 billion years, it's so long that by the time you find out, who cares?
But you can never say you're immortal. Even in 12 billion years, you don't get to keep that title.
But even if you had a mutation that changed the genes that govern the aging process and so created
because all a vampire is it doesn't age and it heals. So, and healing is and we know in nature with genetics you can bodies organs can heal themselves.
Yes, not that fast.
Pace. All you need is a faster metabolism.
It has to be a speed upgrade.
More energy.
So now we're beginning to get the point I'm trying to make. I mean, this is just a minor aspect of what it is to be a vampire. There's several other things that they have. Having all of these things spontaneously arise, I think is I mean, even one of them is crazy, but you put them all together and
that's why I think something happened. I don't think it's evolution at all. I think something happened.
Yeah,
there was
too.
some sort of thing that made the original vampire occur.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like aliens showing up. And abducted one of the humans.
Yikes. I feel like there's gotta be some kind of explanation. But on this show it need not be scientific.
Yeah.
They haven't paid all that much attention to explaining the creatures by science.
No, they don't really care.
The closest thing they've done to that, I think, is having the synthesized blood that they can drink. Basically explaining that the vampires require a particular kind of nutrition, and if you can produce the nutrition that's in blood, they don't have to actually drink blood. Mm-hmm. They can live on the substance, the part of the blood that is their sustenance.
Yeah.
So that's sort of a scientific approach.
It's like the vegan vampire.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it would be sort of like. It would be sort of like the idea of growing animal tissue in a lab or something, and then eating that as opposed.
Oh, you mean the KFC approach?
Yeah, I mean the classic KFC approach.
Yeah.
Yeah. As opposed to raising the animal and killing it and eating it, and if it's providing the same thing, then it should work. But it's it's making human blood not magical. Like they don't have to have that. So that's sort of a scientific thing. But besides that, I think they've been pretty lax on that side of things.
Yeah.
And they've got all these other creatures.
Yeah, it's a pretty crazy world that they live in. I mean, there's all kinds of things.
Yeah, I'm wondering if they're sticking to the books anymore.
I think they are. From what I can
is this
tell.
Marianne character actually in the books?
I thought so, but I don't know. I mean, there's a lot of Sookie's books. And I feel like, Sam is a shapeshifter, That's definitely there. I mean, maybe, I don't know about Marianne in particular, but I think the idea that there's other things besides vampires is in the books.
Yeah, I figured that was, but I was wondering if this, specific story was in the books. I mean, I think the books are more about Sookie, and the TV show is more about the other people.
Mm-hmm.
But that's usually what they do when they adapt something for TV. It's nice to have a group of characters as opposed to just being focused on one all the time.
Mm-hmm.
Even though, I mean, the focus is still Sookie, but it's, there's quite a bit of attention on the other people.
Yeah, they get their moments.
Yeah, I'm just wondering how they treat that stuff in the book. Not that I actually want to read it, but I'm curious. I don't know.
Well, you know what Curiosity did to the cat.
No, I don't actually. What could you tell me?
No, I was asking.
Oh, you said it like everyone knows,
like
and so I should know.
Oh.
No, not like a question, like a statement.
Like a statement of asking something?
No. No. But I don't think you know, so...
Wait, who's on first?
Oh, God.
It never gets old, man. It's been a long time.
Yeah, I wonder if it ever will get old.
I think in a couple thousand years from now, the machines will be laughing at the demise of humanity and saying, "Who is on first now, humans? Who is on first now?" Because see, the robots are.
Right. Right. Wow.
Just thought I'd point that out.
Wow. I wonder what the vampires will be doing when the heat death of the universe happens.
Dying with the rest of us.
I guess so. That's it for you.
Yeah.
I mean, well, I wonder if once the sun supernovas, if they'll be fine after that. They can just walk around normally.
I can't imagine there'd be a lot of vampire. I mean, I feel like the very nature. I mean, the way the show depicts them, if they actually came out and tried to live normal life, that's one thing. But I think at a certain point they just kind of die off and want to just you'd have a lot of them, I think, who would just want to be dead after 10,000 years or something.
Can a vampire kill itself?
Well, it can be staked. It can go out into the sun. I mean, it can it can have someone do it to it or something. Yeah. I mean,
yeah.
Yeah. It can shoot itself.
Well, that takes away all the fun, though.
Why?
I mean, if they can die whenever they want, it's sort of not, they don't have any of the bad stuff.
They do have the bad stuff. They can't be normal. They're not human anymore.
Well, they can't be normal, but...
They're isolated from humanity, and they have to sleep at night or sleep in the day, and it's like... That's the punishment, and having to live forever in that purgatory or whatever between the two worlds that's the punishment. But yeah, I think they can kill themselves. I mean, it's not a magic thing.
Yeah.
Where they can't
That just seems like such an easy way out. Like, oh, it sucks being a vampire. Oh well. Like
I don't. But that's the thing. I've never seen a vampire do that.
I haven't either, and I wonder why not.
Because I don't think it's that bad.
Well,
there are impulses and forces that when you're a vampire that make you want to like the lifestyle. I mean, they start out bloodthirsty and and then of course comes the sort of wrestling with their past humanity and the sort of moral and mental torment. But I mean, they do seem to, like it to a certain degree, instinctually. If you look at just like Jessica, like she's, they managed to live with it. Because it still is life. That's the thing. Like, it still is being alive. And, if they were just a person who wants to die, maybe they would. But yeah, most vampires seem to want to stick it out.
Yeah.
I mean, you have people who are, who want an easy way out and don't kill themselves. And people live kind of long lives.
Yeah.
My point is the will to stay alive, I think, is prevalent.
Mhm. Yeah. But well, yeah. Okay. The other thing is, it seems like all the ways they die are kind of horrific. It doesn't seem like they have a nice way to die.
Well, because I think anything less than something super dramatic, their body would heal from.
Yeah.
So it's got to be. Now, I don't know why a wooden stake makes any difference. I don't know what sciences could be behind that. That wood versus any other kind of a stake would.
Mhm.
I don't know where that comes from. The burning from the sun, I can buy some scientific theory behind that. That's just a chemical reaction or something. But I don't know why wood is a particular thing. And silver too. Silver burns them.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess that's chemical too, but it seems arbitrary.
Yeah. Yeah, it does. It actually makes me think that, if someone were industrious and sat down, they could, study all sorts of different materials and maybe find more. Like maybe the reason people know about them just because someone tried them and they worked. But it seems like no one's done a systematic study of which materials hurt and which ones don't.
Well, that would be pretty, against some sort of rights, I think, for vampires to.
Yeah, I don't think they would like that. They've mentioned several times they don't like people spreading their secrets or what have you.
Yeah.
But nonetheless, if you really wanted to understand, that would be the thing to do.
Yeah.
Sit them down, bring them down to the lab. Let's go.
Get to touch every element on the periodic table.
If sunlight hurts them, does that mean artificial sunlight would do the same thing?
Yeah, I don't know.
A tanning bed or something?
I think other vampire stuff I've seen, I think that's the idea, is that if you can reproduce the light, then it does burn.
Okay. Yeah.
And the question is it the ultraviolet part of the light that's the deal, or is it what spectrum of the sunlight is it that is causing that?
And if a vampire traveled to another planet, in another solar system,
or a joke. So the vampire goes to Mars, you see.
I don't have a joke to go with this. If a vampire traveled to another solar system, another planet where there was, say a different sun or whatever, or farther away, would it be better, if it were a different kind of arrangement, if the atmosphere of the planet was different,
Yes, no, yes,
I
yes,
wonder,
no, yes, no.
And if they were on a spaceship or something that sort of didn't let in light from stars, would that be okay? It's weird to speculate about this.
I think, yeah. I think Yeah, I think that would all be applicable. I think you have to take the Superman approach that it's the yellow sun that gave Superman his powers, and his red sun and Krypton did not, or else all Kryptonians would be like Superman.
Right.
So I think it's that particular sun. Just like our own, every animal on this planet evolved in relationship to the sun. On some level. So, we get vitamin D from the sun and all that kind of stuff, So, yeah, I think if vampires evolved on another planet, they'd have other issues, but they wouldn't. It wouldn't necessarily. If they were in a red planet or something, I think it could be worse or it could be better.
Yeah.
Or
okay.
depending on what the actual problem is, it could be the same. So.
Right. Yeah. And are there any vampire scientists?
I feel like there has to be, because I feel like there are humans who were scientists who got turned. And I don't think that they would lose, I don't think you necessarily lose the things you're really passionate about. So,
yeah.
I think there's definitely probably some people who are curious. And they seem to have their underground society. I feel like there's probably some vampire scientists and historians, and they've got a, but the question is how
is there a vampire university somewhere?
Yeah, Vamp U.
Yeah. I mean, they don't
the
call
mascot
that.
is the fangs or the bats.
The bats, yeah.
Or the Dark Knights.
Or that.
Oh, come on, that's a good one.
Yeah, I guess.
But, I don't know. Vampires are cool, says nerd number 2.
Yeah.
Agreed, nerd number 1.
It's so strange because it's such a, it's fairly specific what they are.
It's so general.
And I just wonder who came up with that. Because it's I don't know. Presumably it was added to somewhat, but still, I wonder whose idea it was for these strange creatures.
Yeah, there's a lot of strange creatures throughout human history.
Elaborate set of properties. Yeah, that's true. That's true. But still, this one seems to have emanated from, I don't know. It seems invisible where it came from.
Well, I think there a lot of this stuff comes from some sort of origin in reality, and I think maybe, there's the idea of it having that Eastern European root, and I mean, all you really need to start a vampire lore is a crazy guy drinking people's blood. Like, that's the first seed, So I think if anything like that ever happened, you can get all kinds of crazy legends and stuff, and that just gets mutated,
Yeah, so just something about the idea was infectious, and people just couldn't stop talking about them.
Yeah. And, and people write stories, and people tell accounts of things, and things get added to, and then this becomes the idea, and then then someone writes a story on it, and then that becomes what everyone thinks of it, and and then
Yeah, I mean, once it made its way into literature, then then it was kind of set. But it was around before that, and I don't know. It seems obscure.
Vampires?
The origin.
Well, you need to take a course in vampire history.
I guess so. I mean, there probably is.
I think they probably pinpoint it where I wouldn't be surprised if people know pretty closely to where it started and came from. They usually track those things down pretty well.
Yeah, you're probably right. I just don't know.
It'll be like, I can see the Wikipedia page now. It's like, the origin of the vampire myth came from, blah, blah, blah's, story in XYZ time.
Mhm. Yeah. Yeah, you're probably right.
Probably.
Probably.
Or probably.
That means the probability is greater than 0.5.
Oh, is that what that means?
Yep.
Wow. So, you wouldn't say probably if it's a 50-50 chance?
No.
Because it's not probable.
No.
Both are probable, so neither's probable.
They're equally probable.
Equally probable, and mutually exclusively probable.
But if I apply probable to one thing, then the probability of that thing should be greater than 0.5.
Yeah.
Because if the probability of not that thing is 0.5, then it doesn't seem like it makes sense to say that it's probable. Since it is as probable as it.
Mm-hmm. It equals it, the classic it equals it formula. Yeah, I remember that. That's the theorem, right? That's how the proof you have to write to prove that is you get down to it equals it. So that's the theorem of probability. That's it. There it is.
Something like that.
Corollary?
I don't know. I'm no expert on probability.
Throw out words. Well, cool. I think this was a long podcast.
A glong podcast?
Yes, a glong podcast.
I agree. It was pretty glong.
Yeah. So let's.
But not our glongest. Nor was it our longest.
I don't know what words you're saying, but sounds like you're mispronouncing glong. To correct that post haste.
Sorry.
Which is Latin for real quick.
Right. Thank you.
Yes, I speak Latin. I am another.
Oh.
Can't wait to get more of that.
Didn't Michelle Forbes speak some more of her crazy language in this episode?
Maybe she was chanting something. I think she was chanting, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I still couldn't understand what she was saying. Any more than I could the first time.
Yeah, I don't think it was, buy one, get one free coupons at Kmart.
But what if it were?
I don't think she was advertising that. Maybe instead of how they have those sign spinners, who stand on the street corner with the sign and point to things with their sign. Maybe, since in the financial crisis, businesses are hard, so they hire her to go out to towns and, mentally control all these people and get into this big orgy, and then she pitches them deals that they can save money on and gets them to go out and buy those things, after the orgy.
Right.
I think it's great marketing.
It sounds so crazy. Someone should try it.
I think it's great marketing. You're going to get a dedicated consumer base that way.
I've heard a lot of advertising schemes, and I've been a part of a lot of them. But never that one. It gets points for originality.
Hey, there it is.
I don't know what it's like to be sold a product while in the process of participating in a...
Then you, my friend, Don't know what it's like to be sold a product. You've never been sold a product in the middle of an orgy that you didn't even know you were taking a part of.
Yeah. All right. Well, that's. I'll have to put that on my to-do list for the summer. You
should post that to-do list on your on your office door so your students can see.
Yes, I should.
To-do list. Number 1, orgy.
Orgy Kmart specials. At the same time.
Talk about cleanup on aisle 9.
Oh!
See what I did there?
I do. Classic Kmart joke.
Oh, man. Thought I'd sneak that one in there. Hopefully the kitties are in bed.
Cleanup on aisle 9. Oh, God, that's so it's gross. It's cheesy and yet not because it's revolting.
Yeah. It's like classic comedy, but grossed out.
Yeah, classic comedy, but that would never be classic comedy.
I think I heard Fred say that once in that same context.
Really?
Lucy.
I don't think I saw that one. You should tell me what episode that is sometime.
That's Lucy Has an Orgy.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I don't think that exists.
Oh, maybe
I don't think I believe you.
Mm.
I'm pretty sure that's bullshit.
I guess you're calling bullshit.
I'm calling it, but we'll see. I don't know. It would be pretty crazy if there were such a thing.
No, people were crazy back then.
They were really crazy. Literally.
Literally. All right. Well, I guess we'll end the podcast.
Yeah,
it's pretty
I think
late.
so. We pretty much covered the base.
Thank you and good night.
Bye.